So you can also
when one student was passing, it was just nice like this when one student was just passing. Student will be passing.
Yeah, we are live. So what you can do is that you can also put your phone on do not disturb, so that if you get calls through, it will be okay. Yeah. It's going to be an interesting conversation today. We are live. Wherever you are watching from, you want to start putting in your comment. You want to start sharing the link. Today's interview is going to be massive, very massive. I've not done this before, even if you are seeing the setup. I've not done this before, and the person that I'm bringing on board is a friend. We've been roommates before, so this conversation is going to be very, very personal. And yeah, so you want to share the link wherever you are watching from. You want to share the link. I'm also going to use 2 to 3 minutes to share the link on my various social media platforms. So yeah, thank you guys for joining. Let me share it.
I'm trying to see if my mic is working.
Yeah, you can do it.
Okay.
I think it's gonna work. Just let me see comments. Okay, comments are gonna come. Yeah, guys, we are still checking the technicalities and all of that. So if you can hear us, if everything sounds great, let us know in the comment section as well. Let me see. Okay. Facebook is live. Facebook is live. Yeah, you can check it from here. Let me share it as well.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Maybe let me try to. Oh, I don't have Facebook open on my
You don't
phone.
have. I can send the link to you via WhatsApp.
I don't have Facebook on my phone.
No, if I send the link to you on WhatsApp, you can post it so people in
Okay,
office can
that
just
would be
get it.
nice. Yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah, I just shared it.
Perfect.
Okay, let me see. Okay, guys. So if you are here, if you are watching, like I said, you want to share this feed. We want to get us a lot of people to be able to join us into this discussion because, like I said, today we're going to talk about scholarships. We are going to talk about how to secure scholarships after you've gotten funding, after you've gotten, after you've gotten a admission decision, and it didn't come with funding. You are contemplating, how do I sponsor my education? Today, I have with me a friend who is going to show us how he secured funding from the French department as a computer science student. Did you hear that? Let me repeat it. How he secured funding from the French department as a computer science student. This is mind busting, right? So that is why I want you to share the link. Let as many people have access to whatever thing that is happening here. And if you can hear us, wherever you are watching from, if you can hear us, please let me know in the comment section. Let me know in the comment section so that we know that our speaker microphone is really perfect, because like I said, this is the first time we are doing this and we've not tried it before. So if you know you can't hear us, if the voice is down, if you can't hear us, let me know in the comments section so that we adjust our mics. Thank you very much. And we are starting right into it. In the next 1 minute, I'm starting today's session because we're not going to waste time. I believe by 1 hour we should be done with today's activity. So please, wherever you are tuning in from, keep sharing. You want to share to people, let people have access to this. You don't want to watch it alone, right? So please share it as I'm also sharing. Yeah, let's start right into it. As I start with my question, I will also be monitoring my other social media handles to see how the video is doing. But yeah, Idris, please, can you tell us more about yourself? Some people don't know you. As for me, like I said, I know you. We've been in the same room for quite a time, and also we still communicate as friends. And today, I'm very privileged to have you on this session. You want to just use this opportunity to introduce yourself to those that are watching. Just tell them what you are studying, where you are currently, and also a brief background information about yourself.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Evans, for having me on your live session. I mean, I remember it's been over a year now. We are planning to have this session, but we always have this time conflict. So I'm really happy to be here. I will go ahead and introduce myself very quickly. So my name is Idris, and I'm originally from Cameroon. And I'm currently a master's student in computer science at the University of Colorado Boulder with Evans, of course. So this is going to be my last semester, so I should be done in about 2 to 3 months. And is there anything that I'm supposed to add on top of my introduction?
Yeah, so let me just take you back a little bit.
Okay.
So you said you are from Cameroon, right?
Yes.
So at which point did you decide to study abroad? And when you had the intentions to study abroad, take us a little back home.
Yeah.
Before we come to the States, before I know you went to study in China as well, which is also going to be mind-busting to some people, the fact that you can even speak Chinese as well. So take us back to Cameroon. When you finish high school, how is the high school in Cameroon like? Like when you finish high school, did you finish your bachelor's program in Cameroon before you transition? Take us to Cameroon.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be a long journey for sure. So I finished my high school. That was in 2017 back in Cameroon. That was in a city called Douala. That's one of the biggest cities in Cameroon. So I finished my high school in 2017, and at that time I was planning to study in the abroad. So my main destination at that time were Canada, France, and a bit of China, to be honest. So I started applying to schools, and I was lucky to get a scholarship to study in China at that time. So it was an easiest decision to be made, if you know what I mean by that. So that's how I decided to go to China for my bachelor degree. I even before that, because I finished my high school in 2017. From there, when I was applying to admission, actually the first year I didn't get any admission after high school. So I decided to go to a public university in my country. That's called University of Cham, where I studied physics for a year. So I did physics for a year while still applying to schools in the abroad. And I got a scholarship that year to go to China. So when I was supposed to get into my second year of bachelor in physics in Cameroon, I dropped out. So I left to China for my bachelor degree. So I studied in China for almost 5 years because I learned Chinese for a year and then I did my bachelor 4 years.
Was it compulsory to learn the Chinese language or you just decided to learn it?
Oh yeah, that's a good question. So what happened was that they gave me admission for the intake of September 2018, but I had some issues with my visa. So I got to China in January. No, sorry, in December 2018. So at that point in time, the first semester was about to end. So the school couldn't really allow me to, and they didn't have like any spring intake. So they had me learn Chinese during the spring intake and I started my major instead the following September. So that's the reason why I learned Chinese. But if you were to ask me, even if I like, if you were to ask me, I would still be learning the Chinese before starting my major because that was really helpful for my stay and everything in China.
Okay, nice one. So you were doing your physics in Cameroon, which was
Yes,
bachelor's.
yes,
But as a result of you doing that, you got a scholarship to go to China.
yes.
So you went to China to continue in the physics or you changed program?
Oh yeah, that's a good question. When I was still in high school, I didn't know exactly what I wanted to study. I just knew that I was good in maths and physics, and I just wanted to do anything that's related to that.
Yeah.
And when I didn't get admission to go there in my first year, when I went to University of Chang, I was contemplating between maths and physics.
Mhm.
But because a lot of my friends were going to physics, I was like, you know what, let me just follow the crowd. That's how I found myself doing physics.
Mm.
But when I got to China, I just found out that if I when I go to China, I didn't still know exactly what I was going to study because usually when you get to a school, like in the engineering program, especially in my school, for the first and second year, you all are in the same class. So whether you're studying physics, mathematics, computer science, or electrical engineering, you are pretty much doing the same subjects. So from the first year, when I took my class Introduction to Programming, that's when I got to know that okay, I really wanted to do computer science. I just love the fact that I could write any code and it's going to translate into something like building a website and anything like that, right? So for my first year, that's when I came to realize that hey, I really want to go into computer science. So that's how I switched from physics to computer science, and that's what I've been doing pretty much all my life now.
So from physics to computer science, right from Cameroon to China. So
Yes.
Cameroon, you left around what time? Was it 2017?
No, I left Cameroon in December 2018.
2018 to
Yes.
China, and you
Yes.
spent almost 5 years in China,
Yes.
and you learned the Chinese language as well.
Yes.
How do you say we are live on Eva? How do you say we are live in Chinese?
I don't know.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Well,
that's very interesting.
I know you can speak and write it at the same time.
Yeah.
That's pretty very very I don't know because you know when you have the opportunity to speak like different languages, it really helps you a lot in different like dispensations, honestly.
Yeah, I think it does help. And apart from like the language itself, one thing I came to realize that because you probably know my first language is apart from my mother tongue, I also speak French as my first official language, if I can call it that way, right? And I came to realize that when I started learning Chinese, I realized that I have three different personalities based on the language I speak. When I speak French, I have a personality. When I speak English, I have a different personality. When I speak Chinese, I have a different, and that's this. It applies to literally everybody that you ask that speaks many languages. I don't know about you, but like that's been my experience. So I just feel like when I'm speaking English, that like the way the tone of my voice and all of those things kind of dictates the way I'll be answering to like the feedback and all of those things.
Yeah. What you are saying, the reason I'm laughing is because, you know, as a TA, I grade students.
Yeah.
And recently I was grading my student just this week, and one of the students I was reading her paper, she, you know, reiterated like what you just said, the fact that she speaks like multiple languages, and based on the languages that she speaks, so in the essay she mentioned that she has four different names based on the languages she speaks, and her grandfather always tells her, you know, when you speak different languages, you put on a different character, you put on a different personality. So if you are Chinese, or if let's say you are a Cameroonian, but you can speak China, the moment you code switch and you are speaking Chinese, your personality and certain traits about you changes. The moment you go back to French, it changes. The moment you speak English, it also brings forth a new. This is very, very, very profound. And thank you very much for bringing this up because it just came to mind when you were talking about it. Yeah, thank you very much. So in Cameroon, I know Cameroon is divided into two parts. We have the French speaking part and the English speaking part.
Yes.
So you were from the French speaking part, right? Right? Or
I mean, I'm a Cameroonian, but I was born in let's call it the French speaking part. Although I prefer not to like I mean, like we are one united country, if you know what I mean by that. So I don't like the fact that we call some people French speaking part and English speaking part, right? But at least I'm a Cameroonian born in Douala, which belongs to the French speaking part of Cameroon.
Oh, okay, okay. The reason why I brought that up is because, you know, I know sometimes like where you are from, like me making that distinction,
Yes.
English is not being like it's not the official language.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, you needed to leave Cameroon to China.
Yeah.
Now you learn the Chinese language, which is fine. But how, when you were leaving Cameroon, how was your articulation? How was your, you know, when it comes to your fluency in English?
In English,
Yeah.
yeah, that's a
So
good question.
how was it? How?
So just like any other country around the world, I believe everybody starts learning English from primary school. I guess that's the same pattern in most schools in around the world, right? So I started learning English from primary school, I guess, and I basically learned English from my dad because Cameroon being a bilingual country, learning English is compulsory for every student. So if you study in French, you have to learn English throughout your whole school stuff. And if you study in English, you'll be learning, you have French as a subject in every class you are taking. And that's a little bit different from like in Ghana. I know you'll get a choice to like choose between Twi or French or something like that. But Cameroon is not the case. You have to learn either French or English as an additional language to yours. So by the time I was leaving Cameroon, I mean, I have to speak English just like any other Cameroon. We are mostly bilingual, right? But maybe not as good as maybe today, I don't think, right? Because
Yeah, today you are.
we try, and then I try to go to China. But one thing to mention is the fact that in China I studied in English, not in French. So, it's not in Chinese, sorry, not in Mandarin.
Yeah.
I studied in English, not in Mandarin.
In Cameroon or in China?
Yeah, I studied Mandarin, not in Mandarin.
I see. I see. So there's the distinction even between that in terms of the Chinese language as well.
Yeah, no, I mean, when you get to China, usually the way it works is that when you get an admission, the school will you get to decide whether you want to go into the English program or Mandarin. Like Mandarin is like a Chinese or a Chinese program, so it's basically up to you if you want to do it in English or in Chinese. But I decided to do it in English because my Chinese was not good enough to like start studying computer science in Chinese, if you know what I mean.
Okay, and you said so in China, were you given a fully funded scholarship? Run us through the computer science program, your bachelor's, you continuing in China, you having to learn their language. At the end of the day, was it fully funded scholarship or it was partial? If it is partial, tell us how you navigated your ways around it.
Oh, yeah, sure. So one thing to know is that I think things have changed recently, but China used to give a lot of scholarships to international students, be it from Africa, from Asia, from like Europe, or like anywhere around the world. China used to give a lot of scholarships. And their scholarships is probably one of the best that I've seen out there.
China?
Yeah, for the most part, because when you get it, there's one they call CSC, the Chinese government scholarship. Once you get the scholarship, the government basically pays off your whole tuition, your dormitory, basically your apartment and anything like that, and you get a stipend every month. Unlike here in the US, where you have to be a teacher, you have to teach basically to be able to get those scholarships. In China, it's not the case. It's more of like merit based. If you apply, you're qualified, you only get the scholarship automatically.
Yeah.
And then you go to your specific school, you take your subject, and you do your research and all of that. But I've noticed that, I mean, recently, that scholarship is mostly now given to master's and PhD students, and mostly now PhD students, not a lot of master students. So that's the news I got from some of my friends still in China.
Okay.
Yeah. And for my case, I got a partial scholarship when I was applying. I didn't know about for fully funded scholarship.
Okay.
I wish I knew that before going to China.
You was in Ghana applying, so
yeah, sorry to
no, it's fine.
Yeah, so the way it works is that I applied to the computer science program in the school.
Yeah.
And when they gave the admission, they already gave me the partial scholarship.
Okay.
I didn't even know about what it is. In fact, let me tell you something. Until the time I reached the university, I still didn't know exactly what they meant by partial scholarship. I thought I was going to pay the full tuition. They just said, hey, you were offered this partial scholarship. But I didn't really get exactly what they meant by partial scholarship because I knew exactly how much I was going to be paid. So when I go to the front office where we are supposed to pay the tuition, I say, hey, I'm here to pay my tuition. That was like when I came the first day of school. They were like, hey, you offered a partial scholarship. We're like, oh, wow, I didn't know about that. I saw it waiting on my admission letter, but I didn't really pay much attention to
it.
Yeah, I didn't know exactly. I didn't even know about the whole scholarship aspect of it. So
I see. So before we are already in China.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to take you back home a little bit.
Okay.
When you got the admission to study in China,
Yeah.
how is the visa processes like in Cameroon? I know for Ghana, I know for Nigeria,
Okay.
but I don't really know much
Okay.
about Cameroon, their visa processes. Did you apply through the visa application portal, which has now changed into the VITS portal? And how was the appointment like? And do you guys really go through some of these difficulties for getting an appointment date, or it was kind of easier? Can you take us through that process a little?
Are you referring to China or the US?
No, to Cameroon.
To Cameroon,
Yeah,
China.
the process, the visa application process.
Yeah, it's been over 6 years since I applied for visa.
It's a long time.
It's been long, so a lot of things
I've changed, yeah.
All have changed. But if I still remember
Yeah.
how the whole process was, I believe when I got the admission,
Yeah.
I had to go for, I did like a medical, I had to make like a medical appointment or something like that
Yeah.
to go and do my medical and like the checkup and basically the checkup and everything. So once you're done with the checkup, you put in your admission letter together and I believe you have to go through the Chinese embassy in Cameroon,
Yeah.
in Yaoundé, that was the capital city of Cameroon,
Okay.
and book the appointment. And I guess I got the appointment just 1 or 2 weeks from the day I wanted to get the appointment. So it was very straightforward. And as far as I remember, yeah, that's very interesting that when I wanted to get the appointment, I went on, I couldn't get any appointment. And I know there were those agency basically that you can reach out to.
Yeah.
And you basically pay them. It's like they're slow to open, usually around midnight. So they usually stay awake until that time to book appointment for people. But because I can't stay awake every day midnight,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
if you know
yeah.
what I mean, yeah. So I guess I believe I paid them for them to help me get an appointment as soon as possible. So that's how I got an appointment for my visa interview. So when I got the appointment, I went to my visa interview like 2 weeks after that, and it was very straightforward. So when I got there, they asked me for my documentations. So I said 20, my admission letter
Yeah.
and my medical checkup and all of that. So I just handed it to the visa officer. So we just look at the documents and also my dad bank statement because as I told you, I had the partial scholarships.
Yeah.
Basically, most of my funds were coming from my dad.
That was the sponsor.
Yeah, so the visa interview was very straightforward. Just asked me a couple of questions about what I'm going to be studying in China and who's going to sponsor me, what is my dad doing as a job, and I guess that was pretty much it. And from there, he just said, "Your visa has been approved," and he took my passport. And
wow,
yeah,
that's amazing.
So it was very straightforward.
It's interesting you bring it up because some countries
Yeah.
you don't even have to go through the visa processes. You just have to apply online, wait for administrative review.
Yeah.
Once 3 to 4 months, if
Yeah.
they are satisfied and convinced with your application, like Canada and UK, you don't have to go for an interview.
Oh,
So it's very good you brought it. Abdul Majid is saying in China they speak Mandarin.
Yeah, Mandarin.
Oh, so that's what you speak, eh?
Yeah. I mean, people call it Chinese, but like the actual name of it is Mandarin.
It's Mandarin.
Yeah, so Mandarin is like simplified because you have like two Chinese, right? You have like the simplified one and traditional Chinese.
The simplified version and the traditional.
The traditional one is being, I think, it's spoken in like in mainland China.
Okay.
And like some couple of places, and then there are places like Taiwan, Hong Kong, and Macau. Some of these places, I believe, they speak the traditional Chinese, which is a little bit harder than the simplified one. I can't speak that one.
You can't speak that one, yeah.
I mean, I can understand some words, but like it's pretty hard.
Man, you left Cameroon to study in China. That's massive. I always tell people there are some countries. When I was applying to study abroad, I was not considering. No matter what, that was my preconceived notion back home. Today, my perspective has actually changed about this whole process. I always say, once you get opportunity, once you know it's really going to help you transition from your current situation, that is what really matters. Someone is watching, the person is like, oh, it's just US schools I want. Aside US, I don't want to study abroad anywhere. Okay, tell me.
I think one thing people need to understand, like, just you have to be very intentional about what you want to do, right? It's more of like you want to come to the US, but what are you trying to achieve in the next 5 years? So my goal of going to China, I mean, everybody wants to come to the US.
Yeah,
That's the first thing.
yeah.
Anybody talks about traveling destination.
Yeah.
There's nobody that would choose any other country apart from the US. I mean, some people will, but most everybody wants to come to the
US. Yeah.
But me at that time, I was like, what matters to me now? Is it about going to the US and like hustle, like we say, or
Yeah.
getting my degree and making sure to get my degree free of debt and making sure this I get my degree, I can do for basically have like a degree and certified I can do something, and then from there I decide on what I want to do next. And that was exactly what I wanted to do. I wasn't thinking of going to like any country. Even at that point in time, if they give me admission to any country, I was more concerned about where can I get a good quality of education. Yeah. If you get what I mean by that. Yeah. And China today is one of the best companies in terms of education. Like also the software being created today, either from the US or Canada or China for the most part, and also some part of Europe, some Canada, right? So that was my main concern at that point in time. I was like, I want to go to a place where the education is affordable, where I'm pretty sure I can have like a good life balance basically between like school and life and all of that, right? So that was my main concern when I was living in Cameroon. And then when I go to China, when I was about to get my degree, now my priority changes. I was like, okay, now what do I want to do about my life? In the next 5 years, maybe I want to get married, maybe I want to do, if you know what I mean by that. That's when now you think about, okay, where can I, like, which way is going to fit the other destination?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's basically how I navigated the whole system.
You are a very smart guy. You are very, and it's just you got to be resilient. I always say this, some of us are coming from some places that, if we hadn't pushed to some limit, or if we hadn't pushed through, break through certain limits, you wouldn't be able to create path for those that are behind. You have to always take that bold step, create opportunity, then you'll be able to, like what I'm doing now.
Yes.
Most of the things I do is just for free. Like what we're doing, people come here, they gain the knowledge, and
You are doing a good
I'm
job.
trying my best, bro.
I was there when everything started. I remember, like,
You are the manager,
I
eh?
was one of the
You are not managing me, bro.
I should start taking my job seriously.
Okay,
I
okay,
should start
okay.
taking my job seriously. Very much.
Oh, nice. I am enjoying the conversation, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but guys, why I'm not seeing a lot of shares today? What is happening? Please share the link wherever you are watching
Share
from.
the link,
Share the link and
like the videos, and share to anybody that
yeah,
will find this useful.
please share. We've not even gotten to the actual conversation. How he was able to get fully funded scholarship in the United States, which is going to be mind busting, mind blowing. So please share the link for us. You want to share it, just press on the share button and share it so that other people can get access to the feed. And also, if you want to come live and talk, I've shared the link on various platforms. You can request for it. I'll bring you on. You come and ask us questions. Put your comments in the comment section. Let me know what you are thinking. You've gotten admission, it didn't come with funding. You are contemplating, what should I do? He got a master's program in computer science, didn't have scholarship, yet he was able to navigate his ways through and got fully funded opportunity from the French department. What are you talking about? What are you saying? Please share the link and let's go. Yeah, so Idris,
Yeah.
we are still in China.
Okay.
Because once we come to United States, then it means we want to climax the whole conversation,
Okay.
which I don't want us to climax it now.
Okay.
So I'm still going to take you back to China,
Sure.
talk a little bit about China and all of that. You made a very instrumental argument right now that China is one of the leading countries when it comes to tech, when it comes to IT, when it comes to all these sophisticated
Software.
softwares and all of that. Share more light on that. What makes you say that? I know it's true, I know, but someone is watching, someone does not really have an idea of what that means. Can you throw more light on that?
Oh, yeah, sure.
I hope it's not a deep, it's not a deep question.
Yeah, no, I mean, the question is, it's a very deep question for
Yeah.
sure, and you also deserve a deep answer. You shouldn't avoid it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, today's everybody will agree with me, including you, probably, right?
Yeah.
That China today is one of the leaders in terms of technology, in terms of technology, anything related to like AI and like softwares and all of that, right? I mean, when we are counting the top three countries today around the world, I'm pretty sure that US and China are going to be in, right?
No doubt.
Talking
Yeah.
about the innovation, everything that's being done around the world. It could be whether it's your PC or anything that the phones that we are using. A lot of them they are not being built in the US.
Mm-hmm.
They are built by Chinese companies
Wow.
for the most part. So that's the reason why I believe China is one of the leader in the industry. And I believe everybody probably agree with me with that.
Yeah, I don't know how true this statement is, but I know it got.
Okay, let's think about it.
Yeah.
Everybody here is using ChatGPT,
Yeah.
which is made by a US company
Yeah.
called OpenAI. Right? Everybody uses ChatGPT, it works well. And, I mean, as a computer science student, right, for the most part, we have what they call models checkpoints. Basically, like, how do I put it? It's more of like we taking the model that has been trained and then load it into our computer and then test it to see if everything is working perfectly, right?
Yeah.
Not necessarily going straight to ChatGPT, but using the algorithm with ChatGPT to like test our model behind, right? And recently, it's been, I guess, 1 or 2 months now. There's this Chinese company of like very few people that were able to build not necessarily reproducing ChatGPT, but building a ChatGPT like model
Yeah.
which performs way like not way better, but like in some extent better than ChatGPT.
Is it a deep seek?
DeepSeek,
Yeah.
exactly, and they use less than 10% of what of the I guess 10% of the
The
resources.
budget. Yeah.
But I'm not sure of that.
Yeah.
But in terms of resources, they use way less than what ChatGPT they
Yeah.
like. It just tells you how innovative Chinese people are. But of course, I'm not necessarily saying that they are more innovative than US and any other
Yeah.
country. If they were able to build it, it should tell you that okay, they're at least
Up
like
on-
one of the leaders in the industry.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why I believe China was one of the lead. What is still one of the leaders in.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on that. And yeah, they are doing amazing job. And I also very much admire, brothers, the Indians. Anytime I see them, I'm very glad because they come here, they go into IT field, and they are very good at whatever thing that they do when it comes to this IT or softwares and opportunities.
Yes.
So I love the fact that it's one way or the other fragmented, like to other countries. People are really involving and investing into these things, and even sometimes you talk about countries like Africa. Some people are really investing in some of these things, but sometimes it comes back to resources, it comes back to the support and all of that. But yeah, once the support is coming from the government, because I know mostly sometimes when people have this project, when they have a lot of support from the government, it becomes more feasible as compared to you doing it alone without any funds or support from anywhere. Thank you very much for that distinction. Yeah. So in China, you finished your bachelor's and you graduated. At the end of the day, you decided to apply to the United States.
Okay.
What motivated you to apply to the United States right from China?
Oh yeah, that's another good question.
Mhm.
For my third year, okay, something that happened when I was in my second year of my bachelor degree. I knew I was going to go to a different country for my master's degree.
Yeah.
Not because I did. I liked my experience in China. In fact, that's probably one of the best 5 years of my life being in China. The 5 years
Wow.
spent in China, right? And I knew I was going to go somewhere else, not necessarily because I didn't like China, but because I wanted to get like a new experience, a new perspective of the world and stuff, right? And I didn't want to go to any Asian country. I don't have any issue with Asian countries.
Yeah.
Like today, Japan, South Korea, they're doing really, really well.
Yeah.
But I wanted to just go to like a different place where people like have like different perspective of the world and stuff, right? So my main destination around that time was anywhere in Europe, Australia, or Canada, or the US, one of these countries. And I guess when I was in my second year, my school had this exchange program, which this university in the UK called University of Bristol. Is it Bristol University? University of Bristol, if you know that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's more of like when you get your third year, you do your third year of undergrad in a Sydney University. That was my school, and then you transition to
Transfer.
transfer to Bristol University
Yeah.
for a year, and then you get your bachelor and masters at the same time. You're just doing 4 years.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, that's a very good that's a very good deal for
Yeah.
sure.
Combination.
Yeah. So I wouldn't have to like go for another 2 years of masters. But unfortunately, I applied for a scholarship because the school was giving a scholarship. So I got the information late in the first place, and the time to get all my documents ready to apply for the program. The program had already closed. In fact, the program was still open, but the scholarship application
Yeah,
was
was
already
closed. And that was what you were targeting.
Yeah, so it wouldn't make sense for me to be paying that amount of money for to finish my degree. So I just started to stay in China, and I stayed until my third year. As I said initially, right, I knew exactly that I wanted to go outside China, but I didn't know exactly where I was going. So I started doing research in different schools in Europe, including France, Norway. Norway was one of my destinations.
Yeah.
Because I know people don't pay tuition.
Yeah. Norway.
Yeah, also Germany. Because we have a lot of Cameroonians in Germany. I don't know if you know. The Cameroon was colonized by Germany.
Oh, okay.
Just in case you know.
Yeah.
So there's been this good partnership between Cameroon and Germany. So a lot of Cameroonians tend to go to Germany to study. So
They have the DAT scholarship in
yeah, they have
Germany.
that scholarship.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was really contemplating between Norway, Germany. There was France also. There was also UK in the picture. Yeah. So those were like the four destinations I had in Europe. I was also looking into schools in Australia, Canada, and the US at that time. So basically, I was kind of going all over.
All
the
over.
place. Yeah, I didn't know exactly.
Just outside China.
Just outside China, I was like, I just wanted to go somewhere. And then something happened. A friend of mine, he was also from Ghana. That was one of my best friends when I was in China. When I was in my third year, he was applying to schools in Canada and in the US, and he got one school in the US. He got a full funded scholarship. So basically, got a TA.
So that motivated.
That motivated me. Yeah. So when I was in my second year, he was doing his masters in China when I was in my second year. When I moved to my third year, that's when he got his TA, like basically his full funded
Yeah.
scholarship to come to the US. So when he came here, I was like, maybe I want to follow the same process, if you know what I mean by that. So I was like, okay, at least I know he has tried something and it works.
Yeah.
So why should I go and try other things? So
Yeah.
especially given that US was my first destination, but I was just more concerned about the tuition involved in school because I know how expensive North American schools are, right?
Yeah.
So those are the reasons why I was exploring different options in Europe. But when he traveled and he told me that, hey, the process it's not I mean, it's not easy.
Yeah.
If you put on the effort, you are likely going to get something so after that. So that's why I was like, you know what? Let me just concentrate,
Yeah.
focus all my effort into like North America,
Right.
forget about other places. Instead of trying to applying to one school here, let me just apply to, if I want to apply to 5 schools, all the 5 schools have to be in the US to like, increase my chances of getting admission.
Yeah.
And I was pretty confident about my profile because I had a good GPS and I had like some research experience
Yeah.
around that time, and I feel like my profile was pretty good to like get that admission. So for my 3rd year, I guess when I was entering my 4th year, I entered my 4th year in September of 2022. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the time I started applying to school. So I applied to 5 schools, 4 schools, 4 schools in the US.
Do you remember all the 4 schools?
Yeah, and 1 school in Canada. So here in the US, I applied to University of Virginia, Purdue University, University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign, also known as UIUC.
Yeah.
I also applied to, let me think about it, of course, University of Colorado in Boulder. Let me think about another school I applied to. Florida State, that's I also applied to Florida State. And then in Canada, I applied to University of Montreal, where I got bachelor scholarship there.
Okay. So with the schools that
Yeah.
you had in mind,
Yeah.
how did you, I know you use the common app
Yes.
to apply to the school. Someone is watching, they don't know what goes into the common app. Can you tell us more about what goes into the common app and how did it really help you to organize your documents to apply to all these schools at once, and you were able to connect with like-minded people, students who were also applying to computer science? Because the last time you even told me they even have WhatsApp groups where you can join.
Yeah.
Tell me more about that.
Yeah. Okay, maybe I should talk a little bit about more of like my process from the day I decided to apply and the days after the application until I got the admission.
Yeah, please do.
So early around September, not let me see, in January 2022, I was still in my 3rd year of bachelor, working my way through my 4th year, basically my last year. So at that time, I was doing a lot of research about which universities I was going to apply to, and at that time, my main priority were the university I'm applying to, do they offer TA to master students? I wasn't concerned about do they give TA to every student, no. Do they offer TA at least to some extent? If so, do they waive all the tuition for TA? That's something I was also concerned, because something to know is that not all universities in the US is going to waive off your tuition, even if you're a TA. It's not necessarily the case. Like I know.
Please say that again.
So what I'm saying is that most US universities, when you get a TA, your tuition gets waived off.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily the case for every US university. So by the time I was applying, I was concerned not only about if the school offers TA, but also if my tuition will get waived off if I get a TA. And I didn't know that before until I started talking to a couple of people on LinkedIn, and I'll get back to that later.
Yeah.
I was reaching out to people on LinkedIn. So that's how I was able to kind of, going through doing a couple of research and understanding exactly which school I wanted to apply to, which school should I avoid. And I know we have like thousands of like hundreds of thousands of universities here.
A lot. Even in Colorado, you have like 5 to 6 cities.
Sometimes you don't even know how to navigate the whole thing, right? So there were 2 apps that I was using, 2 software that I was using. One of them is called Yocket. That is YOCKET. YOCKET. That's I guess that's an Indian-based company that helps students apply to jobs. So that software basically helps you to, like, you can use the free version of it. You can log in, you can create your account. I mean, this is not a promotion. I'm not doing any promotion for it.
They've not paid us. You can't be doing advertisements for Yocket and Common App whilst they've not paid us. So don't talk plenty about it.
I have to mention. So one thing that helped me was that when I got into the platform, I was able to input all my data. So you can put your university, basically the university where you got your degree from, your GPA, your research experience, how many years of experience you have. Once you put all those informations, they have an AI-based system that's going to recommend some schools to you. But I feel like the recommendation system that they have didn't work pretty well for me, because most of the schools they were recommending to me were, I would say, a bit lower for my profile, because I was very confident with my profile. So the school they recommended to me, I felt like I could easily get admissions to those schools. I was like, no, I'm not going to those schools. Let me try to aim something a bit higher.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I did was that they gave you an option to look at other people's profile. So
On your kid app.
on the Yoket app here, you have millions of applicants. Like basically, like you have thousands, hundreds of thousands of people that apply to different schools. So what I did was that I went on the platform and then I filter out. Let's say my GPA was 3 out of 4.
Yeah.
I filter out everybody that had a GPA of, like, let's say if my GPA was 3, I'll filter everybody that has a GPA of between 2.8 and 3.2, for instance. Basically around the margin of my GPA.
Yeah.
So when I filter out those people, I will add another filter of like how many years of experience do they have? I will set it to, I didn't have any years of experience. I had a couple of internships in China, but not really like years of experience. So I'll keep it as 0. And then research publications, one, because I had one paper published around that time. So when I set those filters, it's going to show you everybody with the same profile as yours. And now when I look at those people, those were past applicants who have been applying since 2016, 17, 18, or 2023. So when I had those people's profile, I could click on each individual profile, look at their specific details, look at what their GPA was, the years of experience they had, look at their resume. Some of them even put their CV on the app.
Yeah, or the statement of purpose.
Exactly, the statement of purpose. Not the statement of purpose, but just their
The resume.
yeah. And then they will put how many schools, like the list of schools they apply to, which school did they get admission, did they get any funding. So based on that, I was kind of comparing my profile with those people's profile. Let's say my GPA was, let's say, 3.9 out of 4, for instance, and the person had a GPA of 3.7 with 0 years of experience, with no research publications.
Yeah.
Somehow it tells me that, okay, I have a little better profile than this person. So I'll look at the schools the person applied to, and then I will keep track of those specific schools on an Excel sheet. And then if I meet somebody else with pretty much the same profile as the other person, that got pretty much the same admission, I know that, okay, these admissions are going to be easier for me to get into. I don't know if that makes any sense. Like this University of Colorado border, when I was doing any research, one thing I found out was that for computer science, although the acceptance rate here is really low, but I've noticed that most people with a GPA of about 3.7, 3.8 out of 4 tend to get admission here for the research-based master program. So I feel like my GPA was higher than that, right?
Yeah.
So and they didn't necessarily have any research experience, like any research publications. So I knew that, okay, this school is going to be my target school. I knew I was going to get admission to CU Boulder. So I was like 60% sure that I was going to get admission. So I was confident about, okay, maybe I could try a bit higher school, not necessarily higher, but like school that are like higher ranking than CU Boulder,
Yeah.
a bit lower ranking than CU Boulder. But I knew exactly that I have higher chance of getting admission into this school. So that's how I was navigating to like get admission. I mean, that was a lot. And I was talking about it. I started doing this from January. Although the application portal started in September for the most part in most universities. I started working on it in January. So I gave myself 9 months to do the whole thing, like taking my TOEFL, and I had to take a TOEFL because Cameroon is not recognized as an English-speaking country in most places, so you have to take the TOEFL exam. So I had to give myself 9 months to make sure to take the TOEFL exam. Have like a list of at least 6 universities where I wanted to apply to.
Is the TOEFL the same as the IELTS, or is different?
Those are English exams. I know we have the IELTS, the most popular. We have the IELTS,
Yeah.
we have the TOEFL, we have the Duolingo.
Duolingo, yeah.
So I know if you are going to Canada, a lot of schools will prefer the IELTS as opposed to here in the US, they'll prefer Duolingo.
Okay.
But nowadays, I feel like most schools are okay with having any of them. Even CU Boulder, I guess they started taking the Duolingo, at least the computer science department.
Okay.
They take the Duolingo now. So last year they were taking, I don't know if this year they're still
So
taking
you just took it because,
I wanted to increase my chances.
Cameroon is not considered as an English. Okay.
I mean, I could have decided to apply to schools that, because there are a lot, like Florida State, for instance,
They were not
they didn't require me English, right? So I could have decided to say, okay, I can just focus on schools that do not require TOEFL. But then I was like, that's going to limit my chances of getting admissions. So let me just make sure to get in. At that point, I could afford taking. I know that TOEFL is expensive. It's like $300.
$300.
Yeah,
that's a lot of money.
When I gave myself 9 months, I said, okay, in 9 months, if I cannot save $300, that's a big problem.
What was the currency in China?
We use the yuan.
Okay.
RMB. Yeah. So it's
then the exchange rate is going to be a lot.
1 yuan, $1 is I guess like 8 RMB.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
Yeah.
I guess RMB is probably the same currency as. See, it used to be same as CD when I was in China. It was even higher than the CD. But I guess now the Ghanaian economy has gone down a little bit.
Yeah. When it comes to the currency and all of that. Yeah. Okay. So common app Yoket. So please, guys, if you are watching, you are asking yourself, how should I apply to schools? You can sign up onto the Yocket app, or you can sign up, just search it on Google, or you can check it up on App Store, Play Store, and download the app. It's going to help you arrange your files, your application. It will help you know the number of students that are applying to your same program, and it becomes more easier. Sometimes you can even join groups, you get people talking about how their experiences went and all of that. This is invaluable information that my brother here is passing on. You might not get some of this information anywhere. Thank you very much for joining. Please, I can see a lot of people are watching. You want to keep on sharing the link. You want to keep on subscribing to this channel. We have all your educational content covered for today. So, Idris, we are going to come to the United States. So, you applied to 5 schools.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, how many did you get admissions into, and how many did you get rejections
Oh
from?
yeah, my admission rate was really bad. I mean, the thing is, I was too confident in my profile. One thing I didn't realize was that
Uh-huh.
computer science is one of the most competitive.
Very, very, very competitive. Please tell them. A lot of
Yeah.
people come to me, they want to come and study computer science in the United States. Some of them, they've not done, they don't have test scores, which is pretty fine. But some of them, they are not even doing any internships. Some of them are not really putting them in a situation where these schools are going to. You've been here for a while. I'll ask you questions about what goes into some of these processes. And is it possible for a computer science student to get a fully funded scholarship from their department? How is the process like? I know it's very tough and tedious here. We're going to talk about it. You take us through the process.
Okay.
But in China, when you apply to these schools, how many did you get admissions into, and the rejection rate? How is it?
The first thing I did was to apply as early as the portal opened. So I gave myself 9 months to
Yeah.
get everything ready. So when the portal for most schools opened in September,
Yeah.
I think I
For
applied,
fall.
yeah, for fall admission for fall 2023.
Yeah.
So I applied within 2 to 3 weeks for most universities that I applied to. So again, I applied to 4 to 5 universities here in the United States and one university in Canada, University of Montreal.
Yeah.
So the thing is, 2 months before the admission started, before the admission portal started, what I did was that I reached out to most graduate admissions to offices.
You sent code emails.
Basically to ask for fee waiver for like application. Because like one school, the application.
You want scholarship, you're asking for free application waiver.
No, because I mean it starts from there. If you're able to, I mean, if you apply to many schools, you get a higher chance of getting admission.
Mm-hmm.
We give you higher chance of like even getting funding, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So the first thing I was doing was like initially start looking for application fee waiver. So I reached out to a couple of universities. I only got one fee waiver for two actually.
Two.
Yeah, one in Canada and one here in from this place. One from Michigan State University.
Michigan State University.
I got a few back from that school. So thank you to the admission office. So out of the schools I applied to, I guess the first admission I got was from the University of Montreal.
Yeah, Canada.
Yeah, so the way it works is that they have like a research lab. So you initially apply to the research lab. If you get into the research lab, they have like a project base and have the research base. If you get into their research base, they'll directly give you full funding plus stipend, and they will ask you to apply to one of their connected universities. That's how they call it. So you have McGill University, which was probably one of the best universities in Canada today. You have University of Montreal and some other universities. So unfortunately, I only got into the project-based, not the research-based program. And they gave me only partial scholarship, so like half of the tuition. I get it, not necessarily half, but I get the tuition was around 20,000 a year or something like that.
Dollars.
Yeah, dollars, yeah, Canadian dollars. And I think it went down to like $10 or something. These are not the exact numbers, so that like just approximations. Yeah. And I think that's the first admission I got. That was around February.
Mm-hmm.
And then I
2023.
yeah. And I waited for like 2 to 3 weeks. I wasn't getting any feedback from any US universities.
Hmm.
Even the rejection.
They can really take time.
Even the rejection I wasn't getting. I was like, you know what, Canada is, let me just proceed with Canada. So I started doing the visa process. The only thing was just to book my appointment basically to send my.
You started with the Canadian.
Yeah.
Wow.
I didn't go with the US one because I wasn't getting any admission.
Yeah.
I said, at least give me rejections. At least I know, okay, I got rejected.
Yeah.
I wasn't getting any feedback. So I even reached out to most of these universities asking that, hey, well, you know the way it works, right? Usually you don't get a feedback or just say, hey, we are still reviewing the applications. Yeah. And one thing to also remember is that at that point in time, from Yocket, I was able, you were able to join groups with people. And what they will do is that they will create WhatsApp groups at you. So all the 6 universities are applied to. I was in 6 WhatsApp groups for all of these universities. So you can start someone like compare your profile with other people and then realize that if somebody got an admission. So the fact that nobody was getting an admission. Like nobody was getting the feedback from those universities. Maybe like okay, at least I know that nobody's getting the feedback, so the admission process has not started. I'm holding
So it's not a mistake of yours.
the school is just taking its time. So I got admission from University of Montreal. I started the visa process. The only thing that was just to create my account onto the government website and then apply and wait for their feedback. But I did it. I was like, let me just give one more week to see how it's going to be like. And then 1 week started. I got, I guess, 2 rejections in a single week. I got rejection from Purdue University and University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign. Those are two of the top schools in the US in terms of computer science. Those are very competitive. So I knew that without the research publication, like without like good research publication, it's going to be hard for me to get into those programs. So I wasn't really surprised, right? I knew like I have to like very less chance of getting into those programs. And I guess Michigan State, I'm not sure if I even got, I don't remember the feedback I got from them. And the third admission I got was, and I guess that's when I got University of Colorado Boulder 1 week later. That was ending March, beginning April. I got University of Colorado Boulder and Florida State. I got them around the same week, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So I got those around early April. Yeah, that was early April. That's when I got admission from those two universities.
And did they come with funding?
No scholarship, nothing. So at that point I was considering going back with Canada with the Canadian option.
Yeah, because at least partial.
At least I have like partial scholarship, right? So that was the thing. And maybe should I start talking about how do I get a scholarship or something like that?
So that is massive. Thank you very much for letting us know. And you also highlighted some key points. The fact that you were sending code emails. So if you are watching, you've applied to a school, it's getting to 3 months, you are not hearing back, send a code email. Be very humble. Send a code email. Ask, Professor Michael, I applied to your program like 2 months ago, and I haven't received any feedback yet. I was just sending this message over to make inquiries concerning my current status with my application. As simple as that. And they will tell you, oh, we are making a decision maybe in 1 week time or 2 weeks time, or oh, it's still under review. So please, because the more you keep on doing that, sometimes I say this, the more you keep on doing it, they will know that this student is serious. Like that's not to relegate the fact that those that apply are not serious, but your constant check-in can really do something different, and it can really position you in a way that they might see you very different from the other students. So if you get opportunity, do it.
But don't also send them just like follow up, right? Especially, I mean, you will not apply in October and expecting an admission in November, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of schools, they have like a timeline.
Priority deadline.
They have like a timeline. They will tell you that, okay, for those who apply between, let's say, October to December, they're likely going to hear back from us by 31st February.
Yeah.
So they usually have those timelines. So it's not good to reach out to the school by that time, especially if the information is written on the website.
Right.
If it's not, okay, you can follow up. But if it's written, at least wait until that deadline.
It's over. Yeah.
2 days or 3 days later, you can follow up with the graduate admission office. So always make sure to find, if you are applying to the grad school, look for the graduate admissions office. They usually have like different names.
Yeah.
Don't reach out. Usually departments usually like get into the whole review like the last.
Yeah.
The graduate admission are the one usually making the first decision. I mean, in some schools it's different. Sometimes the department will make a decision before the graduate program, before the CS. So it kind of depends, but like feel free to like reach out to the two of them and then see if you will get.
Thank you very much for that. So you had admission to Montreal, and at the end of the day, you decided not to go, although you had partial funding.
Yeah.
Now you've stopped the process. You want to focus on the US schools that you've been given admission. Why CU Boulder?
Yeah, that's a good question. Maybe I should first talk about why I didn't even decide to go to Canada, given that I had a partial scholarship, which at that point in time would make more sense for me to be going where I got like, at least a partial scholarship.
Yeah.
University of Montreal is a very good, it's a very great university. Yeah. In terms of ranking, I'm pretty sure it was the higher ranking university I got. Between the 3 admissions I got. Actually, I got 4 admissions.
4.
Yeah. Purdue University, I applied to their main campus, West Lafayette.
Yeah.
And usually I know that most master's students will get admission into their master's computer science program end up getting a scholar, a TA, teaching assistant position. At least, like the latest would be your second semester. But most people end up getting the first semester. But I wasn't qualified to get into their CS program, so they sent me into their Fort Wayne campus. And that campus usually you don't get TA easily. So I decided not to go there. So it wasn't even a part of my priority because I didn't know a lot of people going to those universities. So as I said, University of Montreal it's a very good university, but I just felt like there was just that thing that was telling me that just try the US. That's where you always wanted to go to, and you are close to your goal. So just try. If it doesn't work out, you can always apply to. Especially the fact that the visa slot in China is very close. Like basically, if we are today's Friday, right?
Yeah.
You can find a visa slot for like the F1 visa in China next week Tuesday or Wednesday.
Wow.
Next 3 days.
A lot of dates.
Yeah. So like even if I happen not to get a visa to the US, I can still go back to Canada one if possible.
Yeah.
Because we were around early April and the school was about to start in August. So I had like 3 months period to like figure out the whole thing, right? So why University of Colorado Boulder? So let's say the two schools or the three schools I got in the US. I got Florida State, I got CU Boulder, and I got Purdue, yeah, Fort Wayne campus.
Yeah.
I just felt like, I mean, first of all, CU Boulder is higher ranked than all of the other universities. Right?
That's one.
Something I also usually do is that I will go on LinkedIn and check people that did the same program as mine. Like I'll go to Florida State University. I will check most of their current master's students. I will check, did they do any internships during their stay? Where are they currently working? Because as a computer science student, everybody dream of working for Google, Facebook, Amazon, some of these fun big companies, right? I was like, do any of their students work for any big company? Not necessarily Google, but like any respectable company, any big, medium-sized company. Right? Yeah. So I was checking it and I found out that for Florida State, I mean, that school has a lot of opportunities. Students end up working like very great companies, but not as much as CSU Boulder. I've noticed a lot of my seniors, the alumni, those who came here 1 or 2 years before me, end up working for companies like Meta, Apple, Chase Bank, that's like one of the biggest. JP Morgan, yeah. So a lot of those companies. So like, it made more sense for me to come to CU Boulder. But Florida State is a very good school, and the tuition there was way less than CU Boulder. CU is expensive place to live. Yeah. So the tuition was very less there as compared to here. At some point, I was even considering going to Florida State, given the tuition. Yeah. But I was like, I mean, if you look at for 3 credits, the difference maybe let's say 2,000 for 3 credits. Wouldn't make that much sense for me going. I would not trade off like the 2,000. I'm not trade off the education I would get from CU Boulder. Yeah. Because of 2,000 for a credit, right? I was like, you know what? Let me just stick to CU Boulder and then just go with it. So that's the reason why I chose CU Boulder. More of like the career prospect of career path. Yeah. Thank you very much. I love how you went about this distinction and so well said. I really love it. And I think people are really learning from this. Like LinkedIn is a professional. We'll talk more about it in our last part of the conversation. I know it's a professional, place for you to connect with people. And I love the fact that even before, even right before you are about to complete school, like you still used it, even in making certain decisions, which is very, very, because sometimes people just use it when they are applying for jobs. But you didn't just use it when you were looking for jobs, you use it right even before you're about to decide on which particular school you wanted to move into. So that is very, 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 very key. And I think one question that came to mind that I also want to ask you is, how did you show proof of funds at the embassy in China, knowing well that you go this expenses annually? 64,000. It was like almost 64. Like yeah. If let's take the 4 out of it. Let's say annual total cost of attendance is $60,000 CU Boulder. Yeah. How were you going to take care of that, knowing well you didn't get scholarship? Please tell us about that. Yeah. Or maybe you're a rich man's son. Let me let me know. So when I got the admission, I was very concerned about the final, like any other person that gets admission without funding. Right? Yeah. I was just so concerned about it. Like I said, at some point I was even thinking of just going with the Canadian one. I was like, let me just follow the University of Montreal one and then forget about the US. But when I started talking with people on LinkedIn, like basically I reached out to a couple of people from CU Boulder, like those who are already doing their master, those who graduated from their masters from CU Boulder.
Yeah.
So I just reached out to them on LinkedIn. I just added them. They added me back, and I started asking all the questions I had. So the question I asked initially was more about the curriculum of the class and the career prospect, and all of those things. So when I asked them those questions, I was like, "Did you get any TA when you were studying at CU?" And most of them were like, "Yeah, I got a TA in my second year." I noticed that most computer science students end up getting a teaching assistant. Teaching assistant is basically a position that gives you access to funding.
Yeah.
CU Boulder.
Yeah.
As I stated previously, getting teaching assistant does not necessarily give you full fund.
In some schools, yeah.
In some schools, yeah. But at CU Boulder is the case. So most of them told me that in your first semester, that's quite impossible because they have to give those, because their priority are PhD students, second year master students, and then first year comes after that. So usually, most of them told me that you are going to get a teaching assistant position in your second year, not the first year. So that's what most of them told me, and that was true because when you check your LinkedIn profile, most of them end up being teaching assistant in their second year. And one thing somebody mentioned was that you don't necessarily have to be a TA in your department. It could be in a different department.
Someone told you that on LinkedIn.
On LinkedIn,
So that is where your mind was trying to go on to something.
So because I thought the funding comes specifically from your department. But I thought, you can even get a teaching assistant from like the music department if you know how to sing or you know how the music works. I mean, if you are lucky, if they are looking for anybody and they are looking to hire someone and you have the skills, you can just apply. If they take you, they're going to waive off your tuition and all of that. So that's when it came to my mind that, hey, maybe I should try a different department because I knew the computer science department, it wasn't going to be possible for me to get an admission. So I was like, okay, let me try to assess my skills first and then know exactly what skills do I have, what course do I think I have the capability to teach. So I started thinking about, okay, what can I do? That the first thing I wanted to do is how do I stand out from the crowd? Like out of all the people that got admitted into CU Boulder in that specific year, what can I do that most people can't necessarily do? So like, okay, let me think about my assets. I was like, okay, before going to China, I studied physics in my country. So I have some good understanding of mechanics and like some of these, basically like physics as a whole, right? Like electromechanics and all of those things. But like, okay, maybe I should try reaching out to the physics department to see if they are looking for any teaching assistant or research assistant for a specific thing. So I just had like an Excel sheet. Basically the name of the department and then all the emails of the higher graded people in the department, like the dean of the department, how do they call these people? Like the advice, they call this
Dean of Department, Programs Coordinator,
coordinator, the
Program Advisor,
and some of their program advisors, some of this year. So I kept their names and their emails on an Excel
for CU.
For CU, yeah.
Computer Science Department.
No, computer science, like physics department.
Physics,
So
okay.
I was thinking about what subject can I teach.
Okay.
So
you thought about physics.
Physics, yeah. So I went into the physics department website. I look at the courses that they offered in their bachelor degree. Like check it out. Okay, this course, I think I can teach this. I can teach this course. So when I was sending them cold email, I specified that okay, I have the skills to teach A, B, C courses. So that was for the physics department. I also checked. I found out I never knew they had any language department like Chinese department, French department, something like that. So I found out they have such departments. So I thought that the Department of Chinese language, something like that.
You went to Chinese department?
Yeah, I went there. Like I kept the name of the dean and
oh my God.
I also went to the French department. I kept it.
So you were just gathering the queries, the data.
Exactly. Just assess my own skills. I know exactly what can I teach.
Okay.
Yeah. So I guess those were the ones.
Physics, Chinese, French,
and also mathematics.
Mathematics. Okay.
I also had a good mathematics skills. So I also reached out to the math department because they have those calculus 1 to 3, and you're like, okay, I'm confident in my skills. I knew I could teach those courses. So I called email all those people that are just all those professors that I just enumerated previously, right? So I called email all of them saying that hey, my name is Idris and I just completed my bachelor degree in computer science. I got admission at CU Boulder and I'm currently looking for a part-time job work that I can be doing on campus. And I noticed that you are offering this course this following fall 2023. And I was wondering if you are currently looking for any assistant for any of these courses, not necessarily teaching assistant, Because the thing here in the US is that we have the teaching assistant, we have the research assistant, we have the course assistant, course manager, grade, and all
Course
of that.
instructor,
Course instructor,
GPTI, graduate
GPTI,
part-time
yeah,
instructor.
so some of these like GPTI, graduate part-time instructor, research assistant, and teaching assistant, those are the ones that will give you that will waive off your tuition.
Yeah.
But all the other ones, you just get paid hourly without getting any
Tuition
feedback.
remission, yeah.
Yeah. But when I approached most of this department, I didn't specifically ask them if they had any tea because at that time, even part-time job on campus, I wasn't having. So
Yeah.
even if they give me a greater job, I will still take it. I will not say no to that because
Yeah.
I didn't start applying for jobs. So when I emailed them, none of them actually replied to me. None of them, yeah. I didn't get any feedback.
From all the departments.
Yeah, all the department, I didn't get any feedback, not even like
After that work you put into.
yeah. I mean, that's how it is. I think on average you get I guess there's a research that says that when you call email professor, you get only like 5% response for the most part. You got 5% response. So I was like, okay, if I reach out to like they say,
Why do you think that is the case? Is there something why?
okay, yeah, maybe something I didn't mention was that when I was applying to schools here in the US, like when I was in my 30th bachelor, before when I gave myself 9 months to like start working on my applications. I called email professors if they were looking for research assistants. Because I know the teaching assistants, usually the departments hire their teaching assistants. But research assistants, a professor himself
Yeah.
will hire the student
Yeah.
and give you the full funding.
Yeah.
So I knew that okay, this is not the department dependent. So this is professor dependent.
Yeah.
So if I'm able to convince a professor I can work in this lab, I can do a good job.
Yeah.
He can take me as a research assistant. And of course, considering going for a PhD, of course, because usually he wouldn't give it to you if you're going for master's. So
Yeah.
yeah. So that's when I started cold emailing professor. I got only 2 feedback from them, but it didn't go well. It didn't quite go well, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Not necessarily, not from CU, from different universities.
Yeah.
So that's when I came to realize that when you call email, you don't necessarily get a feedback. But it's more of like, do you stop from there? Are you persistent? You just have to keep doing it.
Yeah.
So I didn't get any feedback from them. And then a week later, one of the professors from the French department, she's just a assistant professor, I believe. So she's not even a program advisor or anything like that. She just reached out to me, say, "Hey, thank you for your email and thank you for your interest in our department, something like that. I would love to have a quick chat with you if you don't mind, something like that." I said, "Okay, cool, no problem." So we set up a call. And during the call, we're just basically chatting about CU Boulder, what I do here, basically what she does there, and like how's the department like. And at the end, she told me that okay, they usually have this position of like course assistants. So they usually have their students that will learn French, and let's say every Friday they will need somebody to be like a tutor, basically. Basically, we'll just be there speaking French with them, if you know what I mean by that.
Yeah.
So that's basically the position at the office. You say, "Hey, we usually have this position open, and if you're interested, let me know. I can give you the link to apply to the position." And given that you speak French fluently, so you won't have any issue of getting a position, right? Because they usually hire a lot of people for that specific positions. I say, "Yeah, no problem." She said, "Okay, she'll get back to me later, I believe." And after I had a call with her, just 2 days after that, I got an email from the dean of the French. She's not necessarily the dean, but she has a position more like a dean of the
Yeah.
French department. So she just reached out to me that, "Hey, I got an email that you have an interest in our program, and we currently have a position open." I don't think she specified the position. Yeah, I think she specified that, "Hey, we have one position of teaching assistant open right now in the department. Would you love to, if you would love to be considered for the position, please book was like a 30-minute interview slot from my Google Calendar, and I would love to like meet with you after that." So that's how the whole process was like.
Man, how are you feeling?
So I mean, I was a little bit nervous to be honest, because after I had a conversation with the other professor, right, she told me that okay, she's going to get back to me, she'll give me the link and all of that. So I was sensing that okay, something's good is going to happen. But the best I could think of was like me getting a course assistant position that will be paying me hourly.
Yeah.
At least I know that okay, I'll have like a job when I get here on campus.
Yeah.
But I didn't know it was going to be like a teaching assistant. So somehow I just feel like maybe she recommended me to the dean of the department. So when she got into the call with me, we started discussion. Basically, it wasn't anything. Like the interview was like very straightforward, mostly asking me about my life in China and just getting to know me better,
Yeah.
right? So just getting to know me and all of that. And then from there, after the call, I just got an email from one of the advisors from the French department saying that hey, you are being offered a key position in the department, and they sent me the contract and then I signed it. That's how I got the teaching. That's how I got my I-20 updated. I-20 is the document you get from the international office of your school. So they're my I-20 stating that the French department are the one taking care of my my tuition that semester. So that's how I got it.
Wow, man.
And later on, I came to realize that a lot of departments, let's say the communication department where you are from, every year they have some quota. Let's say they'll give admissions to 5 students,
Yeah.
five master
Yeah.
students, and 5 PhD, so
Right.
10 students, because they are sure they're going to have 10 TA positions open
Right.
that semester.
Yeah.
But now, sometimes some of the students, maybe they end up not getting a visa to come.
Yeah.
Maybe they want to postpone
Or defer.
defer, why they want to postpone their intake or something like that. Or some of them decide they just they accept and then they decline it.
Yeah.
So at that point,
Because they got other
other
offers.
offers here. At that point in time, they have one slot open in their department. So and usually this one they try like slot as CU, but that were closed already.
Yeah.
If University of Colorado says by May 1st, for instance, we are not going to accept any other incoming students, no department can go over that decision, if you know what I mean by that. So at that point in time, they need to find somebody internally. They need to find a student that has the skills to teach in the communication department. Yeah. So if you are lucky and you reach out to a department very quickly, you will get a position. So for my case, I believe there was one student that was given an admission that decided to defer to the next intake, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So they needed somebody to apply. They needed somebody to fill out the position as soon as possible. And that was right the same time that I sent an email. So it was more of like a win-win situation where they were like, okay, we got coincidence where we got like somebody like a fluent person that can speak French fluently. And also me, I was looking for funding. So that's how I got into the French department and got the funding.
Wow, this is man.
Yeah,
The grace of God.
that was the grace of God for sure.
Because I'm thinking about it, it's really going to be hard if if there are no kind of someone must defer, someone must drop out, someone might have gotten a different offer for them to give you that.
Yes.
Because definitely they give the offers to those they've accepted.
Exactly.
So how do they give it to an outside person who is not coming to study in their department? How are they going to benefit from you aside the fact that you are going to teach their student?
So usually that's how it is. For the most part, you always have to be prepared. A lot of people drop. Like even some people for listening to the live now.
Yeah.
Maybe they have gotten 2 or 3 admissions from different schools. So they will accept 2 offers and then decline one of them, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, yeah.
And by the time
I got 5 fully funded. I rejected all the 4, chose one.
So imagine if the funding you got was based on the teaching assistant of a course you were going to teach, and you decided to decline that offer, and the school has already closed. So basically, they couldn't admit any new students at that point in time. How would they do? They need to fill out that position as soon as possible.
Because they've taken money for that.
So at that point in time, it's either somebody that got admission into the program without funding, without it get the funding. That's why some people will tell you that, hey, I got admission in March, and then 2 weeks later, I got a TA position from the department. I don't even know how that happened. Usually because they have preference in terms of the teaching assistant. If one of them decline it, they would already go to the next person on the spot. So that's how it is. So you just have to be prepared and have the skills and basically be prepared and be there at the right time.
Wow, this is amazing. Guys, you are here, you are not sharing the link. Look at this information. Very deep. You are not going to get it from anywhere. You know, we're talking the last day, I said, Evans, I want to come and share my experience as well. Because this is not, usual. It's very unusual, very uncommon. So please share the link so that other people will get access to this. Computer science student, not easy to get a scholarship, but he got a scholarship from the French department. Do you know I used the same strategy for a friend in Ghana? He applied to higher education. He didn't get. I said, you are good. You did minor in history. Applied to the history department. In Boulder, he got fully funded from the history department, just that he couldn't come because when he got the offer from higher education, he rejected it because they didn't give him funding. And later the history department reached out to him that we've given you this one, give us your I-20 for us to update it. And he had rejected already. The timeline was over, so he couldn't really get into the school. So please take advantage of that anytime. I know people who came here with MBA and are working in residence life. They are working in other positions, other places. And if you get opportunities in residence life, for example, they will take care of your tuition, your stipend, they'll give you food, they'll give you a place to sleep as well. If you don't like this, what again do you like? So please subscribe to this channel, share the link as we keep on bringing you update on study abroad. So Idris, you talked about your program being project-based and research-based. Talk about capstone and all of that. Can you talk a little bit about that before we go into other question? Why do you say if you are doing research, that is when you are sponsored? But if you are not doing research-based computer science-related stuff and you are doing project-related, they don't fund. Why is that?
Oh yeah. When I got admission to CU Boulder, I don't know how many people applied that year, but probably
To be a lot, bro.
maybe thousands of them for sure. And if I'm not mistaken, they gave admission to 200 students. And usually the top 50 students get into the research-based practice. Unless you specify that you want to go to the project-based, but usually everybody wants to get into the research-based. So 50 of us got into the research-based, and then 100 and something when
That's a lot.
base. But of course, once you get into the program, from the first semester, you can transfer to the research base.
Okay.
Yeah, you can transfer there. You should have the minimum GPA that they require and all of that. So I got into the research base, and some people got into the project base. And usually, when you're doing a research base, somehow you're doing some research for the school because you are required to work in a lab, in a school lab for 2 semesters before you can get your degree. And you are doing the research for the school basically for free because the school do not pay you to do those research. So at least they should consider you for a teaching assistant position. The way of paying off you are doing research for them, and if they give you TA, you kind of balance it, if you know what I mean by that. As opposed to project-based students, they end up working on for 1 year on the project for a year, but the project is not directly for CU Boulder. It's usually for a company. Usually, I know for project-based, there are a lot of companies here in Calgary
that are sponsored.
that will have a lot of specific work that they want students to work on. So they send those projects to CU Boulder, and so they will give it to students. So they're doing those projects mostly for those companies. So it doesn't benefit
the school.
But we as research, if I happen to publish a paper,
it's in the name of the school.
Name of the school, right? If you will know, that's the reason why most research-based students are given priority to when it comes to. But something to take into consideration is here at CU Boulder, the tuition for research-based is higher than those in course-based. For 3 credit, which is 1 class, you pay around 7,000 for 3 credit, as opposed to.
Sorry, I have a room booked.
What time, please?
2:30.
Oh, okay. So
okay, we'll wrap up very soon.
Okay, then. Can you give for 10 minutes, please? Oh, it's very emergent.
Yeah, I have a tutor session.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Thank you. Yes, we need to.
wrap up.
Now should look for a place to.
I'm enjoying the conversation too. The room someone is coming to. I don't know how we can put
it for less time. So.
Yeah.
So, I guess they have other. Maybe we can hold off for 5 minutes to find a clear room.
Okay, let's do that.
Okay.
Let's do it.
No, I know the room in my CS, the computer science department we can go to.
That means we would have to end it if we have to move.
Because we cannot stay here, and we can also go out.
Okay, let's see, guys. We are moving. We booked for a place and we have to move. The conversation, we didn't know it will exceed this time. So please, you want to stay on, okay? So we're going to move to a different place, then have this done, okay? Yeah. I think it should be fine.
You don't have to stop the camera with the crowd. Maybe you can show your campus around that way.
Yeah, I can't stop it. We just hold it like how it's connected.
Yeah, I know we can even show the campus around the campus.
Oh my God. Oh man, I didn't know this was going to take we would have booked for 2 hours or something. Yeah, take the charger out from the other side.
Is it this one?
No, it's connected on it.
Okay, got it.
You said we'll get a place at your place?
Yeah, I'll figure to get a place at computer science.
I think we can even do it somewhere here. Our voice is not too loud, based on what sometimes people have discussion there.
No, it's not. I don't think it's possible. Maybe we can type it somewhere. Where do you want to take this one?
I'm coming. You have to take this too so that I get the camera and this.
Do I have to hold this one?
Yeah, I have to.
Okay.
Okay, let's go.
Okay. So you turn right, right?
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, sorry about it. You have a good one.
It's okay. There looks like there's one open right there. I don't know.
Thank you.
I don't know.
I hope no one comes there.
I know.
I'm both quickly, I'm both it, okay?
Okay.
I'm both it.
So where are you gonna book here?
Just inform them. I'm just planning to book it for us. So
Okay.
nobody will come here.
Okay.
So we can start setting up stuff.
Okay, sure.
So this is 160. I'll be right back.
Okay, sure. Yeah, guys. So please, you don't want to leave. You want to stay connected. You want to keep sharing. Yeah. So we booked for a place, and we actually did 1 hour 30 minutes. But the way the conversation is going is so interesting. I can't cut it. I want him to finish because I might not get opportunity to have him on board again because he's gonna leave border to a different state. So you want to stay tuned. Just keep on sharing the link. If you've not eaten, go and get something to eat. How a computer science student, how a computer science student got funding from the um, computer science department. You know, I always say this: build on your skills. His skills actually worked for him. The fact that he could speak and write in French did the miracle for him. It did the magic for him. It did, all the work for him. Because, I always say this, a lot of people, those programs, it's hard for you to get funded, you know. So you have to keep trying. You have to apply to multiple schools. And like he said, you have to target research-based computer science programs. There are some that are project-based. He made a distinction, and you heard him right? The fact that some companies will want to employ some students to work for them in a year, and the companies are the ones going to sponsor. So because the department knows that, oh, okay, we can get you some students. At the end of the day, the benefit is going to be for the company and not for the department. So that is why you don't really get a lot of funding from the computer science department. If it is research based, that one, everything you're going to do is to the department. It's going to come to the department. It's going to be in the good names of the department, right? The good name of the department. So then They would love to sponsor if it is research oriented as compared to project oriented. So that should also tell you and inform you how you write your statement of purpose when it comes to those IT programs or those health programs, right? Especially computer science, which I know a lot of people don't get offers from there. So please take a note of that, because you know you don't just get up and you want to apply because everyone is applying. No, you have to be very strategic. If you heard him right, he was talking about he having Excel sheet. He was tracking his progress. He was tracking. He reached out to professors in a mathematics department, Chinese department, French department, physics department. Most of them didn't reach out back to him. You've been sending code emails, they are not responding, and you think, oh, what am I not doing right? Just because you are not getting responses from them, you've decided to give up. He didn't give up. Just keep on trying, because that opportunity is going to be created for you in future, and you might not know. You're going to get an opportunity, and when they are looking for someone, when they go to their record books and they are looking for someone, you will be the one that they will reach out to. Why? Because your code emails are there. They can see it, that, oh, got to a point, you reached out, you wanted some assistantship, then they will give you that offer. I help someone coming here to study Master of Arts in Higher Education get fully funded assistantship from the history department. And it's the same thing, like he said. People will keep on rejecting these schools because they got better offers somewhere. And sometimes, they decided to go to that school. So then, if I apply to CU Boulder, and let's say University of Harvard gives me an offer, CU Boulder gave me scholarship, Harvard gave me scholarship, I might want to go to Harvard as compared to CU Boulder. So at the very point where I decide I'm going to Harvard and not CU Boulder, my slot is vacant. They have to fill that slot, because my department takes like 10 people in a year. If my department takes 10 people in a year, and based on the 10 people they gave admission and funding to, like 3 of them come and be like, I'm deferring, I want to come next year, or based on 1 or 2 reasons best known to me, or some family issues, I'll not be able to come to your department. The department must get 3 people to replace them. So that is when they will go back to those emails. Probably they've seen your email, but they couldn't even respond. But at that time, they will go back to those emails to check the records and give opportunities to students that they think that they might fill that position. So please and please take advantage of that. Take advantage of that. He applied to Canada, he applied to US schools as well. Broaden your niche. Don't just focus on one program. I always say this, you might not get opportunity to be given assistantship, right? But once you are here, it becomes easier. I think he's coming. Did you book it?
Yeah, I booked for this one was already booked, so
Here?
they asked me to book a different one. They say some people already book here, but they are not here, so that's we can stay until they come.
So which place were you able to
Third
book?
floor.
We have to go up.
Yeah, technically. But we can still stay there. Anybody will be coming here.
Okay, let's I think we can do this within 15 to 20 minutes.
Okay.
If they come, we can still. I think they are enjoying it. Me showing them around. They're enjoying it. Let me just set this up and
Sure.
let's do it. Yeah. Yeah, it's good you booked a different place, at least if for any
It's also occupied. They say people book it here for until 5 p.m.
until 5.
Yeah, I'm just surprised why they are not here. But sometimes people book it online and
They don't come. Yeah.
so it usually happens.
Wow, it happens because I just thought we were going to finish within, but bro, the conversation is really,
Mhm. The next time I'm gonna book for like 4 hours just to even if we finish before time, at least if you know what I mean.
yeah,
I'll be way sure that we're not gonna have to book.
yeah, that's true.
Can we check if my mic is connected?
Yeah, it's connected. It's on.
It is?
It's even surprising. It's very connected.
Okay.
Where you are sitting, is that good for you?
Yeah, it goes.
Okay. Let me do that. Yeah.
It's alright. Nice. Now you
I
can.
have to come in.
Yeah, okay.
I think I have to shift it a little bit.
Want to shoot the camera?
Mm.
Sure. I want to get my water bottle real quick.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, I love this. Okay, good. Yeah. Good. Okay. Okay, so let's try and wrap it up, but it will still be very detailed. So, guys, Idris is back, and thanks for staying tuned. I can see most of you are still on it. That is very good. Keep sharing the link. So, Idris, let's go right into it. Once you come to the state and you are studying and you are given assistantship from another department, what are your chances of you going to be maintained in the next academic semester? Because when you were talking, you said something that there was a slot, a vacant position where someone deferred or something happened, someone couldn't meet up the slot, or the person couldn't meet the department's requirement. And at the end of the day, you were given that opportunity. In the following year, what are your chances of they going to maintain you, or you have to go and look for a different assistantship?
Yeah, that's a good question. because
Because that's not your department.
Yeah,
So
exactly,
how
yeah.
do they maintain you for the 2 years that you're going to be in the school?
Yeah. It does depend on on departments. Some department they just have like a huge pool of TA that they hire. Like the math department here at the University of Colorado Boulder, they can literally take a teaching assistant from the first semester, sponsor you until your last semester.
Wow.
They usually have, I know their class size, they have like probably 1,000
A
students.
lot. Okay.
1,000 students for like the calculus one class, because everybody's required to take that class at CU, but at least you are doing engineering. So they usually have like 10 to like 20 TAs for that same class, right? And I don't think they have more than 20 master students in the department.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the department you may want to check out. Usually the math department, they usually have more assistantship than masters and PhD students.
Mm.
If I'm to go to any universities, I don't get at teaching assistant in my department. That's probably the first department I would check, the mathematics department, because every student do they take mathematics in university?
Yeah, I did. No, university I didn't, because I changed the focus.
But I think everybody that takes any engineering or science related, whether it's
Yeah.
biology or something, you are usually required to take calculus.
There are some social sciences courses that you might be required to take math. Yeah.
So because of that, the math department, at least those in the first year, they are all required to take it. So the class size is usually very big, and they usually need a lot of TAs to manage those students and all of that. So always check out the math department.
That's the key information you are giving to them.
So because I know a friend of mine, she got into the math department in her second semester.
Yeah.
And she's been a TA in that semester until the last semester.
Wow.
But for my case, the French department was a little bit different, because when they give you a teaching assistant, if you notice, they usually give you a teaching assistant for one semester, even on whether it's your department or not, they usually give it to you for the contract is one semester, not 2 years.
For the French or computer science?
Any department.
My department was full for the 2 years.
I mean, on your admission, they offer you full funding.
Yeah.
But usually, like other departments, like for the most part, especially if you are not like official, like if they didn't give you direct scholarship,
Yeah.
just give you the teaching assistant here and there,
Just for 1 year.
For like one semester.
Oh, 1 semester.
So your contract is like a 1 semester contract, and then they'll be renewing.
Okay. Yeah.
So my case in the French department, I was a TA for 1 semester, and I did a very good job. And the next semester, they extended my contract.
Okay.
And around the end of my term, they told me that, hey, we have limited funding for the next semester, so we may not be able to sponsor you for the following semester. So that's what the French department told me, and I only knew that's going to happen because if every year they need 10 TAs in their department, and then last year they only had 9 TAs, and they added me as a 10th year, it made more sense for them to hire now 10 TAs in the 11 TAs in the following school year to fill out the gap that they had initially, right? So it makes more sense for them.
Yeah.
If I was the dean of the French department, that's what I would do.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah.
Because when the student they will come, while doing the TA, they'll be doing research. I wasn't doing any research for the French
For the department.
So I wasn't like contributing that much apart from teaching, right? So they told me they're not going to give any, they're not going to get any, they're not going to get any funding from me for that specific for the following semester. Maybe in the future, but not for the fall that just passed, the fall 2024.
So how did you feel like, and what was your alternative plan after that?
Yeah, around that time, I reached out to the computer science department and the math department because I saw a couple of my classmates, basically those who came with me, started getting the teaching assistantship for the following semester. That was the fourth semester. But the mistake I did was that I did not apply
Early.
I did not apply early because to be considered for the teaching assistant, at least in the computer science department and in the most department, I believe, you need to apply, you need to interview, and you need to get a position. I didn't know about that, and I learned it the hard way. I guess one thing I should have done when I came was that knowing that okay, the foreign department gave me this offer, but I shouldn't just sleep and think that okay, everything is alright. I should still pursue because usually when you get a teaching assistant in your department, you are like 90% guaranteed to keep your TA until you finish your master's.
Yeah.
But that's not necessarily the case when you're from the different department.
Yeah.
So that's the mistake I did. I was like, okay, everything's going to go well. But I should have applied to the computer science department much earlier. So at least I will be interviewed in spring for the next year funding. But I didn't do that. So that's the mistake I did.
No, but I think it's understandable the fact that you thought they were going to renew it for the French department.
That's what it was going to be. But if I thought it'd be like one time, I've got to realize that hey, it doesn't even make sense for them to renew it. Like, why should they renew my distance?
Yeah.
No matter how good you are as a teacher, as a student, they want students from the department to take those positions, right? So that's something I should have done, but I did it. I learned it the hard way. So in the fall semester, which was last semester, I didn't get a teaching assistant in the French department itself, and the computer science I still didn't get it. So they offered me one position we call the course manager. So you are more of like a teaching assistant in some ways because you still deal with students and all of that, the plan logistics and all of that, but you don't teach for the most part.
Okay.
So they will pay you pretty much the same salary as a TA, pretty much, but your tuition do not get weighed off. So last semester I had to find ways to get funding for my family to pay for my tuition.
You paid out of pocket.
Yeah. I got some scholarships. Also, one thing also to mention, I don't know if you usually mentioned it in your channels that they have a lot of scholarship, like internal scholarship here in the US. So my tuition was, I guess, 7,000 or something, and I paid like less than 2,000 out of my pocket, so almost 5,000.
So you got other external scholarships. Can you briefly tell us how you went about that?
One of the scholarship that was like 2005. When I came here in August 23, I saw an email like, hey, we are looking for, they usually give that scholarship one person in the CS department every year. That scholarship usually get towards students from developing countries that have done well for themselves or something like that. So they just
brother, they didn't tell me that. I mean, I'm also coming from developing
computer science department.
Oh, okay.
So I applied for that position in August 2023.
Yeah.
And then I got the scholarship in September 24.
I think I saw that on it. What was that scholarship?
They call it Kazakh scholarship.
That's a very big scholarship. Like it adds a lot of this one to your CV.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it's offered by a student from CU Boulder. I think he studied at CU Boulder around the 90s. So when he graduated, he has been doing very well. I think he's like an entrepreneur or something.
Wow.
So every year he gives the scholarship to one student from CU Boulder.
And you were the one to get it?
Last year from the computer science department. Boulder, yeah. So last year I was lucky to get a position. I got that position. I also got a couple of internal scholarship here and there. But whatever scholarship I was here, I would just go ahead and apply. So adding up those internal scholarships, it took me to like almost 5,000. So I only paid out less than 2,000 out of my pocket for that specific semester, which is not that bad. And that semester, I made sure to apply for the TA position. I made sure to at least secure a spot
in the computer science department.
So I didn't even care about that department. I was like, the more I try to get into like if I stay here, I'll start reaching out to the French department, this department again and again. I would just get myself confused for nothing. Because I knew most of my classmates had gotten the teaching assistant position in the fall that year I didn't get because I didn't even apply for it. So that makes me eligible to apply for the next spring. I stand higher chances of getting the admission. So I submitted my application and they called me for interview last fall.
Which I know is very competitive.
Yeah, it's very competitive. Yeah, it is very competitive. So I gave the interview and I guess like a month later, I was offered a position of teaching assistant in my department.
In the
So
computer science
yes, in my
department.
computer science. So this semester, I'm a teaching assistant in the computer science department. So I've been navigating pretty much the whole thing, the whole process of it.
Wow, bro, you've been through a lot. You've
Yeah, I
been
mean, the journey hasn't been great and that hasn't been easy for sure, but it's all about you being persistent and know exactly what you want to do and, and do things like, well, and you also have to be prepared because the computer science department is very competitive to get a teaching assistant.
they gave it to just 2 people out of almost 100 that
I
applied.
think they initially gave, I think we were 34 that applied. They initially gave it to like 5 people, 4 to like 5 people. And
Out of the
then,
35.
yeah, and then later on, usually one thing to also know is that usually teaching assistant positions are usually mostly for PhD because we guarantee them full funding until they finish their degree. And a lot of PhD move from teaching assistant to research assistant.
Yeah.
So once they move to research assistant, there's
Then
one spot available. They give it to those who didn't give the TA. Like me, I got like direct TA. I know one of my mate, he didn't get it. He didn't get a teaching assistant when he did the interview very well because it was very competitive. They gave it like top 5, for instance. So as he didn't get the teaching assistantship position, he just waited for like a week. When one PhD student decided to move to like research assistant, the position open, they gave it to him. So that's pretty much how the whole process of teaching assistant should work. So yeah, that was it. That's how I got funding.
Thank you very much for breaking that down. And if you're an international student, you are in the United States and you are struggling to find funding opportunities, please, there are a lot of funding in the United States. A lot of people, like he said, a lot of people have graduated, the alumnus, however you put it, they are doing so well for themselves. They are rich. And some of these people want to give back to their alma mater, they want to give back to the schools that they completed from. So once they are sponsoring and pushing money there, this has called, just search for it. You are going to find it.
Yeah.
Today I was just searching for some external funding opportunities in CU Boulder, and there are a lot of them. If I tell you some of the external funding opportunities I've gotten in this school, one of these days I'll have a session where I'll teach you how to be able to do that, go deeper into that, and I believe you guys are going to be very abreast with what really goes into into that. Yeah, thank you very much, Idris. Let's wrap it up a little bit. I know LinkedIn has been your friend for a very long time.
Yeah.
You even check it more than you check up on your girlfriend, which is. Can you tell us what goes into LinkedIn when it comes to recruiters looking at your profile, when it comes to job hunt and job search in the United States? Does like LinkedIn play an integral role in helping or assisting in that kind of job search in the United States?
Yeah. I think today LinkedIn is my favorite social media platform. I mean, I'm not on Instagram or Snapchat. I don't use those one that much, right? I mostly use LinkedIn and sometimes Facebook and Twitter for the most part. And I just feel like if you are a student and you don't use LinkedIn, what are you doing? It's like, what are you doing?
Please
Right?
tell them.
Yeah.
Tell
It's
them.
like, what are you doing? Because when it comes to just even networking with people,
Yeah.
it comes down to LinkedIn. Like, let's say a random person add me like a request on Facebook.
Yeah.
I have no way of verifying if this is like I will just check if we have like friends in common. But for the most part, I wouldn't accept the request of the person if I don't know the person for the most part, right? As opposed to LinkedIn, when somebody adds me, you have an option to like add basically like a short message that, hey, my name is this, I would love to connect because of ABC. I'm now okay, I want to connect with this person, I can directly accept it, right? So even the networking aspect of it helps a lot. When you go to events, whether be it any social event that you go to, it's usually you wouldn't ask somebody's email, somebody's phone number, especially if you are meeting a professor or something. Usually you can either take an email or link. I usually prefer LinkedIn because LinkedIn will give you like a better perspective for the professor. You can go and see what he's been doing. So that even when you are following back, like when you want to follow up the professor, at least you know exactly what to tell him because you kind of have like the history of his background, basically what he has done so far, right? So that's why LinkedIn is where they go. So when I go to events nowadays, when I meet someone, the first thing they ask, not the first thing I often ask, is, hey, can we add each other on LinkedIn? So that's a very powerful thing. And then when it comes to job search, I'm not sure of this, but I believe much job search nowadays in the United States at least are being posted on LinkedIn. So I've been applying to a lot of, probably the computer science student.
Yeah.
That's what we do for a living. We be applying for jobs every time. Right?
Yeah.
So I mostly apply to jobs on LinkedIn for the most part. So that's basically how LinkedIn has been helping me. And it gives you all those options like filtering jobs based on, I don't know, your skills, the location, and the number of applicants and all of that. So LinkedIn has been very helpful to me.
And how does the referral work? Like, we know there's referral on LinkedIn. How does it actually work?
Oh yeah, when you're applying to jobs, usually if you go straight to the company website, you apply to jobs. They probably know like here now in the US, especially now the economy is really bad. So you see over 100 to like 500 people be applying for the same job. One company they are hiring only one person. All of 500 people are applying for the jobs. Back in the day, used to be something for computer science students because a lot of people were applying. But nowadays, even social network jobs and something like that, like you see, there are still hundreds of applications and one HR will not go for all the 500 applications, right? That's a lot. So that's when the referral comes into the picture. If you know somebody working for the company, you can reach out to the person, usually on LinkedIn. So if I see a good job or let's say Amazon, I want to apply for that specific job or software engineering, I will look for software engineers working for Amazon. Most likely, like I would look for software working for Amazon from my school because it's easier to ask
connect with them, yeah.
somebody from your school, right? Or somebody from like same country or something like that. But if I don't find someone from my school, it's still okay. I'll just reach out to them. Usually, I will get a response at least from two people from that specific company. I will tell them that hey, I will not just say hey, even before sending the request. Don't just send any blank request. For the most part, they won't accept it. LinkedIn usually gives you an option to add a note. Just say hey, my name is Idris, and I'm a computer science student from CU Boulder. I'm interested in this position. I would love to chat with you more. They will usually accept it. So once you actually just tell them straight what you want to do, they'll say, "Hey, how are you doing?" Like I've seen people sometimes.
Have you eaten?
Have you eaten? Like
Why?
This is.
I'm fine, oh.
Yeah, like I've seen that. Like sometimes people reach out to you, let's say for anything. Like let's say they want to get to know.
With even school
School
application
just to
help.
know how the school process, the admission process works at CU. They'll be like, "Hey, how are you doing?" You be like, "Okay, you are polite." You say, "Hey, I'm doing well. I hope you too." You say, "I'm doing well. How's your day going?"
Gosh.
I'm like, it's not bad to ask how
Yeah,
it's going well.
just go straight to the point.
Just go straight to the point. Just say, "Hey, I hope you are doing well. My name is this. I'm a computer science student from CU Boulder. I saw this position open at Amazon, and with my 3 years of experience working as software engineer, I believe I have the necessary skills for these specific positions." You just say, "Hey, I would love to receive a referral from you for this specific position to help my application stand out." So once you tell that, please find attached my resume and my email. Let me know if you need further information. Usually, for the most part, they will respond because you made their job easier. You wouldn't let them say, "Hey, send me your resume, send me your information, send me this." You give them everything they need to go and directly give their referral. And usually, a lot of companies they will ask him to add like, "Why are you referring this individual person?" So they will have to write something like, "It is somebody with like exceptional skills. He has done this, he has done this and that." So usually, when I'm asking for a referral, I only include that into my message. Say, "Hey, this is a brief description of myself." I'll just directly send it. It is ABCD. Just like
So that in case they have
in
to
case yeah, they have to
recommend you,
yeah.
they have something to say.
Exactly. So that when they have their busy, sometimes people are busy, they don't have time to respond to your message. And once they open, they want to make sure to get done with your case as soon as possible. So when they open it and they have to ask you again to send those things, what else that tomorrow they are going to be free?
Yeah.
You're not sure. So you have to put all the things on your site, so put all the lock on your site. So once you're sending the message, make sure that
It's detailed.
if the answer is yes, they should have all the information to go and give you a referral. So once they open the website, they will give you the referral. You are usually going to get a feedback that hey, somebody referred you to this position. Go ahead and apply. So when you apply now, as opposed to your resume going into like a pool of 500 candidates, you will stand out and will go straight to the HR. So the HR will have access to those who get referred, and at least you are 50% sure that your resume is going to be reviewed by a human, as opposed to the ATS, which is the automated to certain screen. So
Yeah.
the resume. Yeah. At least you're 50% sure that the HR will check your resume and then make sure that your resume stands out, right? Because it doesn't make sense for you to do all this process and your resume is not good. You're not going to be called for interview. So you want to make sure that you have everything working for yourself so that in the sense that you're sure that if the HR come across your resume, you will get an interview for sure. So that's what you need to optimize on also.
Wow, this is very, 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 very good. Honestly, I have to get a shot of this and repost it because people really need to hear it. The fact that you mentioned a very good point, the fact that now most companies have these AI systems
Yeah.
that, go through the application.
Mhm.
They, just do the cutting, like they
Yeah.
cut through the ones they want
Yeah.
and the ones they don't. And sometimes they are looking for certain key terms.
Yeah. That
They are
those
looking for
keywords. Yeah.
those keywords, those key KPI, productivity, result oriented.
Yeah, you need to make sure to add all of those into your. Also avoid like one thing people will talk about is make sure to keep your resume under one page, like under one. Don't
My
have
own
two
is three.
resume. No, I mean it kind of depends. If you have done publication, like you are more of like a research and academic
Yeah.
background, right? So it makes sense for you to have like all those experience listed on your resume. But somebody told me that if you are applying for like any job that's more of like engineering, I'm talking about engineering perspective,
Yeah.
but not necessarily other this one. So if you're applying for an engineering job or something like that, they don't have time to like check all those things. And they say on average, a human resource in the UN spend less than 10 to 50 seconds, 15 seconds on your resume. So when they take a look at it, they're not going to read everything. They know exactly what they are
Looking for.
So when they will just be checking all those keywords. Once they don't find it, they'll just put it aside and then move on. So you want to make sure to have everything working for you. And most schools here in the United States have those software that will help you go through your resume and then tells you what needs to be changed. Like when I made my resume, I had to use the AI software offered by CU Boulder. That told me that okay, your resume looks great, but you need to improve on this, and that. And then after that, I met with the career service. I booked a session with the career service for the school. That they gave me a very powerful this one I'm going to share with you guys advice. I was using this software called Latest, LATS. Those who do research probably know a bit about it. You are basically coding your resume, basically. Basically, you kind of writing code to generate a PDF for your resume. That's what a lot of computer science students do. But she told me that when you do that, it's going to generate a resume like a PDF. Everything looks good, right? When you upload that specific PDF onto any company website, the ATL, which is the AI tool that the company uses, usually has a hard time screening your resume. So usually they won't be able to find the specific keyword that you included. She said, if you can try to stay away from latest, use normal Word file and edit it. So when she told me that the next day, no, in fact, the same day, I went to look for a Word template and I started doing my resume in Word, and that's how I was able to get a couple of interviews. I wasn't getting interviews so far using that latest. I mean, latest may be working for some people for sure. It doesn't necessarily mean that using Word you have higher chances than latest. But from what you told me and from what I experienced, I feel like using Word kind of helped me getting more interviews as opposed to using latest. So if you are applying to jobs and something like that and you are using latest, maybe you should consider going for a Word file.
My brother, the information you are sharing here is very deep. It's very, very, very deep, and I really appreciate your coming and you having this session with us. I have two things to ask you, then we close for today. One, someone is in Cameroon, the person is watching. I get people from Cameroon come to me, can you help me? I have some of them, I'm mentoring them. You want to talk to that Cameroonian
Yeah.
who is watching this, not just a Cameroonian, but we are using them as a point of contact
Okay.
to other international students
Yeah.
who want to come and study in the United States, specifically into IT or computer science,
Okay.
which sometimes is easy, it's very hard to get into it.
Yeah.
What advice do you think you can give them based on your experience, right from your transitioning from Cameroon to China to the United States? Tell them something, please.
Yeah. I guess the first advice I would give is that giving admissions to US universities is not something that's random. You are not just going to apply and say maybe I'll get, maybe I will not get. You need to know that if you have everything working for you, you're going to get that. You're going to get the admissions. So you have to be very intentional about knowing that okay, I'll be graduating in 2 years, or maybe I will graduate that. I'm already working for a company or anything like that. I want to go to the US, let's say next year. This is my plan going to the US next year. What do I do to make sure to have a better profile to apply? We don't just wake up and say, hey, I want to apply to schools in the US and hopefully I'll get an admission. Hopefully it does not work here. Praying will not help you. Praying is good. No, listen, prayers will not help you getting that.
Yeah, tell them.
It's about you
Put in the work.
putting the work here. You need to put on the work. I know exactly what, because there are some people who work hard. They'll say, hey, I've been working hard, I didn't get admission. You can be working hard the wrong way. So you need to know exactly.
Work smart.
Yeah, work smart, exactly. Yeah. So know exactly what the school is looking for. Know that, okay, let's say here in the US, most schools, if you publish a paper, it does help you a lot. So the question is, how do you make sure to get a paper published? If you are not in, if you are still doing your bachelor, how do you start working for a research lab? Like when I was doing my undergrad in China, I guess I was the only person working for a professor for free, basically.
Yeah.
So there was a professor working on this research. I decided to assist the professor, like as an undergrad research assistant, working for free for the professor. So some days I will have to skip my class because I needed to get a project that she was working done. Because now, by the time I was working on my statement of purpose, I had something to write on my statement of purpose, and she gave me a very strong recommendation letter. So my goal was to make sure to do a very good work with her, so I would get a recommendation letter. Because getting a recommendation letter from any professor that I took the course from, he wouldn't have much to say about it, if you know what I mean by
Yeah.
that. But if you go for a professor that you work with, so I work with two different professors during my undergrad, and the two of them gave me very strong recommendation letter saying that, hey, I work with this student on ABC, and he's been doing a very good job by taking to your program and something like that. So you need to be very intentional about your admission and knowing that the amount of work you put in is going to be the amount of the result is going to determine the result you're going to get from the whole school application process. So just work on your profile and then do your research diligently. So
Brand yourself. If you need proper branding, go to LinkedIn.
yeah, I mean, make sure to like do your work, right? So
Yeah.
take your time to do it. I've seen people reaching out in August saying that, hey, I want to apply to schools in the US.
Can you write my
next
statement
month.
of purpose for me? How?
Like, it took me like I changed my statement of purpose 5 times. Something I didn't mention was that when I did my statement of purpose, I initially had it reviewed by some of the masters, those doing their master's program in my school, because I knew that, okay, they have waiting something like that. When I got the review, I went to each of the each because like, I didn't use one SOP for all the universities.
Okay.
If I applied to 6 universities, I had 6 statement of purpose. Not necessarily too different because I was going for computer science program and my research direction was pretty much the same across all the universities. So I could just keep one of them and then change a little bit of it. I went on LinkedIn. I reached out to like 20 people from each of those schools, asking them, can you please review my statement of purpose? I'm being polite. I didn't say, hey, how are you doing? Well, you just go straight, say, hey, I'm applying to school. This is one of my premium universities. I would love to get into this school. Right now, I just wrote my statement of purpose and I had it reviewed by some of my friends. But given that you are from this university, I believe you have the skills, you probably have like a better perspective.
Yeah,
on
the
how
requisite skills, yeah.
exactly. So, and when you say that, you don't say, can you please review? No, you say, I would love you to review my statement of purpose. If you have some time, please find a time my statement of purpose, take your time to review it, and let me know if there's anything you need. So you give them like the time to do it. You don't press them to do it. You don't also ask them to tell you yes or no. When you send it, you attach your statement of purpose. You just stay type there. Some of them will never respond. Like if I try my link, a lot of them did not respond. Some of them responded that okay, I will do it, but they still didn't do it. What do you do there? You have to follow up. Say, hey, can you please do it? And I want my statement of purpose review by, I guess, 6 to 8 current students here in the University of Colorado. But no, here in the US, and then 3 from CU Boulder. They review my resume saying that, hey, change this, change that. And then it kind of helped me like get like a better perspective of like what the school is asking.
Yeah.
Of my resume. I know there are some mistakes that I was making on my resume and I kept it consistently. So one of them was like, hey, you are making this mistake. Does it make any sense? Like, oh yeah, that was a mistake I was making. So I need to like refine my resume again and again. And that's all because I gave myself 9 months to like prepare my documents and all of that. So it gave me like enough time to like get everything ready by that time. So I didn't wait until August, be like, okay, let me try to do everything.
And there's pressure.
The pressure, yeah. So once you start doing that ahead of time, like let's say if somebody start getting the fall 26 intake or even the spring one, you know that you have at least 4 to 8 months before the portal will open for most schools. You need to start working on it right now. So it's not like you'll be reaching out to professor. Even your statement of purpose, you need to start working on it right now. You need to start working on most of the things right now, and then give yourself time to like refine your resume, to refine your statement of purpose again and again, so that by that time you get the best version of what you want to do. So that's the advice I would give to people who wants to come here too. And also, I've heard a lot of people saying that coming from Cameroon, getting an F1 visa from Cameroon is very difficult, like from most West African countries, which is true. I mean, if you look at the acceptance rate of those visas, it's true, right? But once you put in your mind that getting a visa is difficult, you are not going to get it. When I was in Cameroon going for my visa in China for China for my visa to come to China to go to China, sorry, or from China coming here to the United States, I told myself that I did the work. I didn't. Nobody asked apply for the admissions for me.
Yeah.
I know what gets into it. I know how I got my admission. I know I got my funding. Nobody told me that you had funding. I got funding because I requested for funding. I seek funding and then I got it. I have all the documents ready to get my admission. There's no any fraudulent thing on my papers. Everything looks good on my paper. Why would they refuse? Why would they deny the visa if you know what I mean by that?
The intent of study, purpose of study.
Exactly. So when I was going there, I was very confident because the confidence matters a lot, especially when you're going for like US visa where you have to give an interview. So when I went there, I just say, hey, it's just how are you? I said, I'm doing good. How about you? I'm doing well. What your document? I gave my document. I just look at him like in the eyes for like being confident because I know that okay, I did the work. So you have to give me that visa. You know what I mean? You have to, because I did the work and you have to give me that visa away. I didn't just do anything alone. So remove from your mind that you might get the visa denied. No. Just tell yourself if you do the hard work, you are going. People get the visa. It's not random, like I was saying initially. It's not like this guy applied with the same profile as me. He got it. I didn't get it. No. Maybe if you didn't get it, maybe there's something that went into. Maybe you are confident or something. But once you do your work and you know exactly what you are doing, there's no way you're not going to get admission. There's no way you're not going to get your visa, something like that. So just trust the process and then do your work, and everything will be all right.
Once you do the work and you know what you are doing, you are going to get through it. Idris 2025. That's his quote, you know. Yeah, guys, thank you very much. This has been a very powerful session, and I hope you got blessed with the information we brought. Please, you want to stay tuned, you want to stay connected to my platform, keep on subscribing. Eva Gas Online, YouTube, Eva Gas TV, Facebook, Eva Gas Online on TikTok as well. Follow me on all my platforms, and I'll be bringing a lot of good content for you to be able to know what is happening on the ground. There's a lot I want to talk about with my friend, but you know what? We always connect. So, well, I told you earlier that he's gonna leave to a different state. So at the end of the day, even if he goes to a different state, I'll connect with him on Zoom so that we go into detail some of the things he talked about, especially the LinkedIn, getting referrals, how to structure your CV. You know how he was talking about it,
Get internships and
how to get internship and full-time jobs. We'll find time and talk about it. He's my friend, so we'll keep on connecting and we'll keep on bringing you guys amazing content. Thank you very much. I'm not going to take any questions today. Time is fast spent. Friend, almost 2 hours, which I feel is a lot. So please, go don't let it be here, like don't let it end here. You want to revisit this video from time to time, watch this video over and over and again, because there are certain things that we touched on that the more you keep listening, the more it's really going to change your perspective. So please, and you can send a link to it. You see, you're not doing well. That friend of yours wants to study abroad. You've seen this video, you don't want to share to them. Copy the link, go and share it so that they will have access to it. You are the only one. That's not good. It's not, it's not good. Copy the link and share it to that family member of yours. You can't achieve it alone.
I like the video.
Please give us some shout out. Give us some shout out.
And if you are aspiring to come to the US for your master's degree or for your PhD degree, make sure to follow Evergas online. He is going to be creating a lot of content. As I said initially, I was there when he started everything. So I was there when he was even still using his. I've been using my computer for your first
Yeah. I use your MacBook.
First video. So I was there during the process and he's doing everything for free. So he wants to create content to making sure that students who didn't get the chance to come to the US will get a chance to apply and come here and get full funding and all of that. So follow us online, like the video, share with your friends that will find it here helpful, and subscribe to Evergas Online on YouTube.
All socials.
By the way, do we subscribe us on Facebook? I don't know how Facebook, but do we?
Facebook you have to follow.
I don't know. Follow Facebook and you have TikTok.
Yeah, TikTok too. Evergas Online.
Anywhere is go Evergas Online. Just go and follow.
And people also want your LinkedIn name.
Oh yeah.
So what I'm going to do is that if you follow me on LinkedIn, Evans Asante Japan on
Yeah,
LinkedIn,
you're going to share my link.
I posted
You posted it.
the flyer,
The flyer.
the thumbnail for this video. Just go there. He commented on that post. So you're going to find Idris, Joe Factory Joke. Idris.
Yeah, you just use Joe Fact, you're gonna see it. So just go to Evans on to Evans
Evans Asante Japan.
Japan
Yeah.
LinkedIn. You're gonna see the first post that he made. That's
Yeah.
the flyers of
This particular live.
live here. You're gonna see I commented there, so just feel free to add me and I'll try my best to answer any question anybody had. And I mean, if you have any other question, just make sure to follow Vegas on. And he's going to be creating more contents, and we are going to find time to have another sort of videos like sometime later to go into the details of all the things we spoke about today.
Thank you very much for coming and answering this.
Yeah,
I really appreciate it. Yeah, thank you.